Coming up, we celebrate MHS alumni and talk about our 2017 Hall of Distinction inductees. Don't miss this episode right now of the Giant Showcase.
Welcome to the Giant Showcase. I'm your host, Angela Stepp, and I am so happy that you are joining us today. Wow, do we have a great show. You picked a great day to watch. I have some wonderful guests. They're incredible figures in our community. Several of them are Hall of Distinction inductees, recent ones, and you're going to get to meet them. But first, I have a lady who is responsible for helping make a lot of Giant successes happen, and her name is Lori Elsroth, and she is the president of the Alumni Association for Marion Community Schools. Lori, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
I'm glad to be here.
You have worked so hard. The Alumni Association has pulled together and has done a lot of good for Marion Community Schools. And today, I think what we need to do is really focus on how you have, through the Alumni Association, honored the past, and you are inspiring the present and helping to build the future through some things like those endowments that you've got going.
Absolutely. In fact, I would say what you just mentioned is exactly our mission. And we've seen great success. We've had the program, our Alumni Association, around for a few years now, but we've really seen some traction take place here in the last couple of years. We have over $200,000 in endowment with Community Foundation.
Wow.
And we are continuing to be able to have dollars on hand to donate on a pretty regular basis to various athletic, academic, and arts-based programs through not just Marion High School, but Marion Community Schools at large.
So for folks who aren't aware of the endowments, now, on this show, we spotlight excellence within Marion Community Schools, within the arts, athletics, and academics. And so, folks, for those of you who are just watching, then you need to know that the Alumni Association has helped to establish endowments for those three areas, the arts, athletics, and academics. And I want you to understand, Lori, the teachers, the coaches, the students, they all have dreams about what they would like to see happen in their respective areas, but the funds aren't always available. It's not something that the school can provide. Let's pick on athletics for a minute. We know that the school cannot fund the entire program. And so the Alumni Association has come in, and through the endowment and some of your other efforts, you have been able to provide some equipment. Right?
Sure,
Would you
absolutely.
share with us a little bit about that?
Yes, as you mentioned, with athletics, really the obligation that the school system has for the most part is providing whatever it takes to get the game or the match or the competition off the ground. And usually that means officials and facilities and uniforms, to a certain degree. But in our particular case with the Alumni Association, we're able to do over and beyond things. For example, we recently donated some monies to the football program. We've got a great new football program on the come up, and what we were able to do there was get them some of the headgear equipment that's state of the art, that they'll be able to have that communication. I know we're doing some additional headgear for the wrestling team. Again, trying to make sure we're going over and beyond with concussion protocol and so forth. So those are a couple of things that we've done. We've helped donate towards new uniforms for the cheerleaders. Sometimes our cheerleaders don't get quite the respect that our other sports programs do, and
that's a hard sport.
Absolutely, absolutely. So this allows us to be able to do some additional things for them as well.
Now, tell me a little bit about the arts, because I know you've been able to provide some equipment to the arts department.
Sure. We have an amazing arts department, particularly at Marion High School. Just the incredible work that comes out of there, unbelievable. In fact, I would encourage everybody to go to the art show, every year when that occurs, because you would just be astounded at the work that our students put out.
It really is impressive.
It is, it is. And we were able to donate money towards the purchase of slab rollers, which are used in the visual
ceramics,
arts.
for clay.
Absolutely. Yeah. And those, are obviously expensive, but they, allow our students students to really be able to do some impressive work. And so we were excited to work with Nate Larson and some of the other individuals from the art department to be able to provide that.
I happen to have a background in ceramics, so I actually know what the slab roller is. And for those of you that don't know, if you're working with clay, you normally have to get you always have to get all the air bubbles out of the clay. And if you don't have this fancy slab roller that she's just talking about, one of the things that you have to do is you have to really, really work and knead by hand to get all of the air bubbles out of that clay. And then when you get it rolled out flat so that you can start working with things, that's more effort that you have to put. This slab roller is going to take so much time out of the mix, and it's going to allow the students to be able to focus on learning how to do versus the prep work. So, and I think those fundamental skills are so important. So
Absolutely.
Just to give you an idea how that's going to then benefit in the classroom, just because I happen to have that background. I'm curious because you do a lot of things in the community. You've had some really great events recently.
But the first thing I would say, about the Alumni Association and these various events is, what we're certainly trying to do is raise money to be able to contribute towards, various programs. Yeah. But we're also trying to create an engaged network amongst our alumni. Mm-hmm. And that means, holding different fundraisers and events where our people can come together. It's fun and it encourages people to want to stay connected to the good things that we're doing.
So if folks ever want to get involved with something like that, how would they go about getting involved with some of these different events, or the Alumni Association if they're not currently?
Sure. The Alumni Association, certainly we reach out to all of our alumni. We welcome friends of Marion High School alumni and so forth as well. But mhsalum.com is our actual website, and that's where you can get a lot of information about what we're doing. Once you become an actual member for a $25 fee, one-time $25 membership fee, you'll be on our newsletter route that we'll get. So you'll be able to receive information about not only the good things that we're doing with the dollars that we're raising, but also some of these events that we're mentioning. We obviously had the Giant Challenge, which was a lot of fun here. Pacer Night, absolutely. So we mention all of those things, out on our website as well as with the newsletter that we do have.
I'm so glad you mentioned the website, and folks, we're almost out of time before we have to go to a break. But real quick, there's something that you're doing online, and it's basically Giant Spirit.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Share with us.
So real quick, we do have a new spirit shop located actually physically out at Marion High School, right as you walk in the front door, but also online where you can go out and shop for wearable items. Spirit wear has become incredibly popular to wear all the time, not just at events.
Everywhere.
Absolutely. And so we work with a variety of vendors. That way we've got a variety of choices that really suit anybody and everybody with design and quality and those types of things. And then we are able to, by running that along with the students from Marion High School and some of the personnel there.
Oh, wait, you're incorporating the students into that effort.
We are. They are helping with some of the design. Yeah, we have a sports marketing class out at Marion High School that Mark Fowler is involved with, and it allows the kids to get involved in creating some of the design and learning a little bit about the business perspective that goes on behind running a spirit shop.
Great opportunity. I really love everything that you're doing, not only to honor the past and build the future, but also to inspire the present, like you were just mentioning. Well, Lori, we're out of time. I got to go to a quick break, but I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show and share with us about some of the great work that's happening through the Alumni Association.
Thank you.
Well, folks, you know what? I have some incredible Hall of Distinction inductees that are going to be coming up on this show, and the next one is a really familiar face. You don't want to go anywhere. I'll see you in just a minute.
We will never fully understand what we've asked of you, of your families, or your children. Asking you to deploy, patrol, stay on watch, on point. Asking you to put yourself in harm's way, to endure it all. But we do understand that it's our turn, our duty, to bring you all the way home, to keep you secure, to have your back for the rest of your life. Wounded Warrior Project long-term support programs do whatever it takes to help our most severely ill or injured veterans live independently, at no cost, for life, so that they might stand at ease. Find out how you can help at findwwp.org.
Welcome back to the Giant Showcase. So glad that you are joining us. Today is all about honoring the giant success of our alumni. And I am privileged to be able to introduce to you a gentleman who is well known in the community, who has served in so many different roles in so many different organizations over the past many years. And his name is Mr. Art Faulkner, and he is a respected philanthropist. He's a humanitarian. He actually worked at Marion General. He was the director of the food service department at Marion General Hospital for over 40 years, and he is from the class of 1958. That's wonderful.
I'm a dinosaur.
No, you have a lot of wisdom and a lot of experience that we can glean from you.
Yes, well, thank you.
Yes, I talked about the fact that you've been so involved in the community, and you actually served on the Marion Community School Board for 12 years?
11 years.
11 years, and 3 times elected president of that board.
Yes.
That's amazing. That's a long time to serve. You've got a lot of background with the school system.
Well, I had been avoiding Harley Burton, who had initially approached me about serving on the school board, and I told him, Harvey, I'll pass this time, but the next time an opening comes around, see me. Well, Paul Mills decided to go out to Oklahoma to become president of the university out there, and so I had no other excuse any longer not to serve. So he was kind enough to submit my name, and I got 3 years off of Paul's term, and then I was elected twice after that. So it was a beautiful experience. I got to work with Superintendent Meyer David, very sharp man, and Ron Hamaker, guys that I respect. And
you actually, you obviously have been a strong supporter of Marion Community Schools for a very long time, and you have served in a variety of advisory roles, including your involvement with the Parent Involvement Committee. You've been a counselor for the Black History Club. Within the community, a lot of boards you have served on: the Marion Senior Citizens Board, City Zoning Board, Grant Blackford Mental Health, Carey Services, Indiana Wesleyan University's MLK Committee. I could keep going. You've even been a deacon at your church for over 45 years, which is St. Paul Missionary Baptist Church right here in Marion, Indiana.
Yes, indeed.
I have to ask, when you found out that you were going to be included in the Hall of Distinction, what was your reaction? What was the first thought that went through your mind?
I was a little surprised that the ladies who were primarily behind this, some of them teachers out at the high school, that they would make that effort, because to me that's a very distinguished group. And in all honesty, I thought I might have enough credentials, but I was still amazed because I hold those people in the hall. I hold them in such high esteem. When you think of a group like Otis Archie and Lyndon Brown, Steve Edwards, all of the fine persons that are already in the hall, then I just wondered, am I really up to that standard? But I am highly complimented that the committee felt that I qualified, and it is one of the highest honors of my life.
Well, clearly, as I go through your track record here, you do deserve to be there. I want to ask you before we run out of time, clearly you have a heart for people. And as I look at all the different accomplishments and areas that you have served in, I want to ask you, what is your passion? What drives you to be so involved?
Okay. Well, I was born a preacher's kid. My dad was a Reverend R.H. Faulkner, who pastored St. Paul Church for 30 years before he passed away in 1982. And so I grew up in an atmosphere where the church serves. The church has an obligation to carry on the principles of Christ. And Christ went about doing good. And so he set an excellent example for us who choose to honor him. And so it was just a natural part of my anatomy. And then I had a wonderful dad. He did a lot of marvelous things, helped a lot of people in this community. And then my mother was a saint. She had a heart of gold. So I had a running start on doing positive things in the community. And so it's just been a natural part of my anatomy to be involved in a lot of good programs. And I had the option to be selective. I really got into those things where I felt like my being a part of the organization would make a difference, where it would be meaningful. I didn't want to just go through the motions. And so it's been an ongoing affair of mine to be involved, and people have asked me about serving. And one of my bad traits is that I don't know when to say no. But when I get involved, I like to be involved with our senior citizens. They need the support and respect of the community.
Yes.
And our kids, another great area, because they are our citizens of tomorrow, and so in so many cases they are our citizens of today.
Of today. Mm-hmm.
And so what better place to put your effort than into primarily those areas? And quite frankly, it's a selfish move on my part, because I really get a joy in doing things that help. And when I have people come back to me years later and they say, you made this difference in my life, then I get the joy. Mm-hmm. I get the heartbeat and the pleasure from having served, and then have people at least appreciate my efforts in trying to help in the community. And this, Marion, is our community. We have to be committed to putting our bucket down where we are. And we have to be really positive about promoting our city and the fine things that go on here. My wife Rita and I we've had 4 children here in Marion. They got a great education, as she and I did, from Marion High School. So we are cheerleaders for the high school.
And great role models, I must say. And Mr. Art Faulkner, I'm sorry I have to cut you off. We're out of time, but it has been a joy to have you on this show. And I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be a part of today's show. Thank you.
Angela, I appreciate the invitation.
Yes, and you know, I want to let you know that when we come back, I have another Hall of Distinction inductee who's responsible for a lot of smiles around here. So we'll let you know who that is in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Once you post your image online, you can't take it back. Anyone can see it. Family, friends, anyone. Think before you post.
When I have an asthma attack, I feel scared. Sometimes my parents have to take me to the hospital. I feel like a fish with no water.
You know how to react to their asthma attacks. Here's how to prevent them. Call 1-866-NO-ATTACKS. Visit www.noattacks.org or call your doctor. Because even one attack is one too many.
Welcome back to the Giant Showcase, and right before we went to break, I told you that my next guest, who is one of the Hall of Distinction inductees, is responsible for a lot of smiles around here, and the reason for that is he has been a longtime owner of Gorman and Bunch Dental and Orthodontics, and he has offices in Marion and throughout central Indiana. He has been a leader in the field and a very much sought-after speaker, both at his alma mater, IU, and around the globe. And we are honored to have Dr. Courtney Gorman with us on the show today.
Well, thanks for having me.
I am honored to have you here. Thank you.
No, it's my pleasure, definitely.
You know, I have to ask because you are so involved in the community, and you are a very strong supporter of the school system.
Well, it's a great school system. It's where I went to school. It's where I grew up, and all my kids went to school here. And just it's part of what we need to take care of is our own in Marion. And Marion's not a growing community anymore, and so it's more important that all of us here continue to help.
Yeah, I'm curious, what was your reaction when you found out that you were going to be part of that group
I
on
was
that wall there?
blown away. I couldn't believe it. That I had no clue. When Mark called me and let me know, I absolutely threw me. I couldn't believe it.
You know,
I'm so appreciative.
The school's been around since the 1800s, right? And there's only 53 faces on that wall right now, and you're one of them.
Yeah, that's it. That, I can't believe it. I mean, I really can't. I remember when they built that high school, and I remember when I got to go there, and it was so big. We had over 700 in our class when we started.
That's a good sized class.
And
the graduation took a while, didn't it?
It did. It took a long time. And we had a nice rate of graduation too, so it's a special place for me. And I've sat in the stands and watched my daughters graduate and my son graduate, and that was really special too.
And your daughter, she was a cheerleader, wasn't she?
Yes, but yeah, both were cheerleaders.
Yeah, I want to ask you, because you have served on so many boards in the community, and I'm going to sneak a peek here so I don't get it wrong, because he's really, really busy guy. You've served with the Marion Grant County Chamber of Commerce. You have served with the Grant County Economic Growth Council. So when you were just talking about the community needing to grow, great person to have some knowledge on that, right? And you've also been a supporter of Family Service Society. I could go on, but I don't want to run out of time, and you don't want to hear from me, you want to hear from him. So I'm going to ask you, over the years, you have helped to fund so many student opportunities. Yeah, go ahead.
Because they're kids, and that's where our future is. And it's not just about going to school, it's about all those other things that go along with school, the arts and athletics and cheerleading. And we want to give all these kids an opportunity to find out who they are and find out where they excel. And Marion Community Schools does a great job of doing that on the education front. But we as a community have to offer and help with opportunities for children to have other opportunities, and that's what I really
helping
like
to make
help
those
with.
dreams come true, as we were just talking about a little bit earlier with Lori Elsroth in the Alumni Association, and how the efforts of the Alumni Association are helping to make those dreams a reality for so many of those students. And you then are responsible for inspiring a lot of the present hopes and dreams into reality. So I want to ask you then, what is it that inspires you?
When I have the opportunity to have somebody come in and spend time in the office and watch them grow and then watch them get into college, and it makes you feel so good that maybe you're influencing this person in the road that they're going to go down. And I like that road, and so anytime I can help somebody wander down it, that's what I like to do.
And therefore a lot of smiles thanks to this man. Well, we're out of time.
I get to smile because of that too. I get to make people smile every day. That's the best thing, is when you take somebody's braces off and they smile and want to give you a big hug. What a great day that is for me.
What a great feeling that's got to
Totally.
be. That's awesome. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show. We've got to run to another quick break. And the next gentleman that we're going to be talking to is another one of your fellow Hall of Distinction inductees. And I happen to hear he's a pretty talented woodworker, so he might know a few things about science too. So we'll be right back with some more Giant Showcase, and you'll get to meet him in just a moment.
No way. Hi.
Welcome back again to the Giant Showcase, and today we are talking about the Alumni Association and the recent Hall of Distinction inductees. And I have a gentleman from the class of 1969 who has actually been working firsthand within Marion Community Schools since 1973. His name is Mr. Dave Tippie, and he is joining us again on the show. I want to welcome you back to the show, because you were here a little bit earlier in the year when we talked about the Quiz
academic
Bowl.
competition.
And I want to just point out to folks that you have been an outstanding educator, and you have mentored a lot of young teachers and student teachers and other students within Marion Community Schools. And you actually worked there and then retired, and then you felt like you were called back.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I retired in 2013, and then worked for a couple years at IW, and then there was a phone call, and they wanted somebody to come back and teach AP Chemistry, and so I have a really good gig. I have one class a day, and they're a handful. AP Chemistry. No, they're wonderful kids, but
I bet.
we came back just for one class.
I want to. Earlier, I kind of teased folks and told them that you are a talented woodworker. You actually really are. You've built a few houses and remodeled a few too, right?
Well, I've built 3 houses and built a lot of furniture, and some in my own house and it doesn't fall apart when I sit on it.
Well,
so
that's
I
important.
consider
You
that's
really
a
don't want
success.
yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, I bring that up because I want to talk to you about the importance of building the future.
Mm-hmm.
And you, working within Marion Community Schools, have firsthand knowledge of what I was talking with President of the Alumni Association, Lori Ellsroth, earlier, the endowment funds that are coming in to the school system. And I understand that they were even able to help with the Quiz Bowl.
Yeah, they made a contribution to the Quiz Bowl, and we were able to get a new buzzer system, and with that contribution and a couple others, and so and their support of the academics is incredible. Mm-hmm. I think they are supporting athletics and academics and arts.
They are.
And
yeah, I wanted to share with me a little bit about some of your firsthand, what you have seen, your observations about the importance of the work that the Alumni Association is doing.
Well, I think I'll share through the students' eyes.
That would be great.
It is not to be underestimated, the value of the students seeing the community being behind them, because when they're struggling, they struggle with their academics, they struggle with the practice schedules, they struggle with being so busy they don't have any idea where their rest is going to come from, and they don't get enough sleep. But for them to, in that time of stress and learning how to be a teenager, learning how to be an adult, it is so valuable to have a group of adults who says, we believe in you. We believe in you to the point of encouraging your academic success. We also believe your financial success in terms of, for instance, the art department, and you know more about that ceramic roller than I do, but the quiz machine, all of these gifts and endowments that they provide, to see your alumni behind you is a tremendous boost. Marion High School has a long alumni history. I think also of Matt Bennett, my good friend. I'll give him a shout out to Matt Bennett, because Matt is the #1 alumni. He's at everything. He's a very supportive parent, and Marion High School Alumni Association is his joy. And so I appreciate all of those. And Lori, as she leads the group, the kids see the community behind them, and I'll tell you, they look forward to be alumni of Marion High School.
And speaking of looking forward, with the Hall of Distinction, it's there displayed prominently right there in the hall of Marion High School. And I'm curious, what are you seeing the students' reaction to that? What are you seeing in that? Are they inspired? Or
when it first started, it was like, who are they? And some of them are of generations past that they wouldn't know, but they're starting to see. I've heard a couple of them say, well, I remember that guy. I went to basketball games when he played, and when Jovan Price and some of those played. And then there are some community leaders that the kids are familiar with. And just to see that long list or the long board full of plaques is quite inspiring to them. I'm not sure I'm going to be real thrilled about every day going and get my mail and seeing my own plaque up there. I'm not sure that's going to be a good thing, but
that might be kind of a
scary,
fun experience.
Yep.
So yeah, there you are, walking right past every day. That's wonderful. Well, you know what, Dave? Thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show and joining us again. And I want to thank every one of our guests who have come on the show and helped us spotlight the excellence within Marion Community Schools through the alumni and how they have been inspiring the present, honoring the past, and building the future. We're all out of time, so I want to invite you to stay tuned for some more quality family programming that you can trust right here on WSOT TV.